Positive rotation.
Welcome to Roll Call, a 126th Air Refueling Wing podcast of the Illinois Air National Guard at Scott Air Force Base. I'm your host, Master Sergeant Brian Ellison. The Roll Call podcast focused on people, mission, and community.
We'll see you back here.
Our guests this week on the podcast are Tech Sergeant Sarah Anderson and Tech Sergeant Maddie Spires from the 126th Air Refueling Wing Recruiting Office. We'll talk about the jobs that are available and how they convert to jobs in the civilian market. Also, we'll talk about the Illinois Guard Grant and once-in-a-lifetime opportunities as a part of being in the Air National Guard. Family Day is October 14th. That's from 12 to 4 o'clock. We're going to meet at the Warrior Park for food, games, and fresh air. Airmen interested in volunteering for an hour during the event, please send an email to Military and Family Readiness. I'll put a link in the show's notes.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. If you're having a tough time or thinking about suicide, you're not alone, and there's hope. VA's Veterans Crisis Line is full of responders who listen and help. Many are veterans or have veteran family members and friends, so they're prepared to address your challenges. After calling, you'll be connected to the next available crisis line responder. That person may ask, "Are you thinking of suicide?" Or "What plan can we put in place to keep you safe today?" If you choose, the responder will share your name and personal information with your local VA Suicide Prevention Coordinator, who'll connect you to local VA assistance and resources. Don't wait. Dial 988, then press 1.
Joining the podcast today is Tech Sergeant Sarah Anderson and Tech Sergeant Maddie Spires from the 126th Recruiting Office. I put your names in alphabetical order. I don't want you to think I favor one over the other. It's just Anderson comes before Spires.
If you like me better, it's fine.
Yeah.
So you guys are in civilian clothes today.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Wow, what a nice recruiting. You guys have it. What are you guys up to today?
Well,
You guys have really hard jobs.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you do have hard jobs.
Right.
Yes.
Today's a really tough assignment.
Yes. So we are going to a Cardinals game. We typically wear a soft uniform when we attend events.
Sure.
Just, to be a little bit more approachable sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes the military uniform can be a little bit.
Off-putting.
Really?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Do you guys have a lot of people coming to the baseball games, coming to talk to you?
Yeah, I would say so.
Quite a few. Yeah, they in passing and everything.
Sure.
We're in a good spot too. I think that
Right.
helps. And then maybe being in the soft uniform maybe helps people come up. And we always have free things, so that always helps.
That always.
That's enticing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what do you tell people, who come to a ball game? Why should they consider, when they come up to you, why should they consider joining the Air National Guard?
Honestly, it kind of depends on the person. We talk to them a little bit, kind of see what they're interested in, where they're at in life a little bit, and then we kind of throw the benefits or what we have detailed to what they're kind of looking for, if that makes sense. So if they're, right out of high school, we'll be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Or "Are you going to
Right.
school or anything?" And then if a school's a big priority, then, we'll throw out our school benefits.
Absolutely. Gauging that interest is
Yes,
huge.
Right.
Definitely.
Everybody's looking for something different.
Absolutely. Someone may not want, maybe they've already finished school. They're like, okay, I don't need those college benefits. What else can you give me instead?
But those health benefits. Wow, that sounds great.
That sounds great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That cheap health insurance versus, on the civilian sector where it's, $500 a month,
Right.
where it's only 40 here.
Yeah, it's
Almost
pretty
50,
amazing.
yeah. Absolutely.
The healthcare benefits, man, that is. If you're already out of college and you're looking for maybe a place to land and kind of give you that just some support.
Absolutely.
TRICARE
Yes.
is good.
It is awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, I think TRICARE is the best health insurance around. So somebody comes up to you, they're interested in joining the Air National Guard. What does the recruitment process for individuals wanting to join, what does that look like?
So basically what would happen is they would, usually approach us. If they approach us in another setting, or even if we get a phone call, whatever it may be, we'll then have usually an initial appointment where they can come in. We can kind of sit down. We can really gauge their interest, see what they're comfortable with, what they want to do. Then we continue the process through doing forms, a little bit of paperwork. We take them to Military Entrance Processing Station, which is MEPS, where they'll take their ASVAB physical. And then after that 2-day process, they come back to us. We do a job tours, which is great because a lot of like active duty necessarily doesn't get to test out their job before they go into it. So they get to meet who they're going to be working with. They get to see a little bit about the job. And then they get to pick their career and what they want to do. After that, we work towards enlistment day.
How important is it that kind of job shadowing, the taking folks out to see a job before they decide, yeah, this is what I want to do?
I think it's pretty important just because we only give them like a piece of paper to essentially go off of what job they want to tour, because we haven't done all these jobs. The only person that can really explain what they all do is the people that are doing it right now. So we want to give them all that information so that they can make an educated decision and find what's truly right for them, because we want them to love the Guard. We don't want them to just, be here hating their life every day, if that makes sense.
Well, we work with you too.
Yeah.
So as your recruiter, I mean, of course we want a phenomenal impression.
Yeah.
And you're coming back to work in our unit.
Yes.
So we're not going to, tell you anything that is a lie or anything like that, because I mean, we work with you. We don't want any bad feedback. So. Right.
But we genuinely care about what you want and what you want out of the Guard, so.
So when you take them on these job tours, they kind of have an idea of what they want to do? Do they come to see, let me see a couple jobs, let me
a little bit.
learn more about that?
Some people have no idea and they kind of ask us our opinion. And sometimes we have to gauge kind of off what they say. Like, hey, this actually, I know you haven't mentioned this at all, but I think you actually might be interested in this. So why don't we just give it a look? Just hear them out, because I think you actually might be interested in this. And a lot of times they really are, and they're like, wow, thank you for showing me this, because I would have never thought of it myself.
Right, even something just a little different than what they normally do. I mean, we even get kids that are in trades already in high school, so they do like different programs that are like auto mechanics, or they're in something similar like that. And sometimes when they come in, sometimes they don't want to do that. They're like, well, I do that on the outside, or I already do that at school. I want to do something maybe a little different. You can different kind of skill. You have such a range here too that we offer. I think that's what the biggest thing is there's so much you can do here in the Guard. It's not just maybe even those trades, but we have medical, we have all different kinds of career fields. So I think that plays a big impact on the decision-making process.
Also, being in the Guard is nice because you're not limited to one job. You can always retrain. So if you do get in that job and you're like, hey, this isn't for me, you have the flexibility to switch careers and try something new. And they pay for that training. We pay you to go, back to tech school and learn that new career, which is awesome.
Absolutely. What job are you going to find on the civilian side that you can just retrain?
Right, exactly. What are the jobs that most people are interested in? Is there one certain, are you surprised that everybody's looking, I want to go see this job, or I want to see this job? Is there one job that everybody wants to see?
I think we have some of boom operator and crew chief. That's a big one.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of people surprise me. It's all over the spectrum. And then there's times where, one job is super popular, and then other times there's a different job that's super popular. It just kind of depends. Like right now, I feel like everybody's really interested in CE type jobs, which is really cool because, I mean, they're awesome and they need people. So that's awesome. We love pushing people over there. Even security forces, a lot of my people have been interested in that lately. So it just kind of goes in ebbs and flows, I feel like.
Definitely. I agree with that. I do think it's kind of all over the place, and just depending on, I think too, maybe word of mouth. Some people are like, oh, I love this job. You should check it out and try it. It might not be one of the maybe most popular one that people think, but it becomes like one of them.
Right.
What are some jobs that people might find interesting that are open right now?
A big one actually is like, I feel like sometimes security forces is huge, because I think a lot of people that have, they aspire to maybe be a police officer on the outside. I mean, it doesn't necessarily, obviously you still have to go through academy and training and stuff with the police department, but it gives you skills to start. And that's the key. A lot of these jobs are transferable to the outside civilian world, which is huge, because you're getting that free training. You're getting the time and understanding of that career field.
You also network with people already in those jobs.
Sure.
So that's
Absolutely.
huge, I feel like.
Networking is big.
Not only that, in security forces, when you go to tech school, you actually earn credits towards a criminal justice degree. So
Absolutely.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is great. And like you said, if you do go to an academy, you're a step ahead of everybody else.
Right.
You have an idea kind of what to expect at least.
Right.
Right. And I've noticed a lot of, watching your Instagram posts, you have a lot of folks going through security forces.
Yep, a lot of the people lately I've had have been really interested in security forces, which is cool because we have a great security forces unit in our wing. So pushing people there is definitely easy because when I take them over there to kind of tour security forces, they are phenomenal. They do so great at explaining everything.
They really do.
And
They're very honest too,
yes,
about
they are
their
very
career
honest
field.
about the career, how it's maybe not the most glamorous, but
Right.
it's very rewarding and they get a lot out of it. so.
Definitely. And I think they work well with each other. And I think because they have that honest up front, like, hey, this is what the career field's about.
Yeah.
This is what we do. It does attract a lot of people because it's like, oh, well, I work with a good group of people. At least they're going to tell me what's going on. They're going to be upfront with me. So I do
Right.
like that a lot about our unit.
Yes.
Any other jobs you think people might be interested in?
Yeah, so there's a lot of, Civil Engineering Squadron has a lot of great jobs. Anything from like structures to pavements and grounds, waters and fuels, engineering. Any of those trade kind of jobs are huge because they're so transferable to the outside and you learn so much while you're in here. You can network like we were talking about.
Absolutely. And they even get like certifications
Yeah.
through, like, big equipment and stuff like that. And as Sergeant Spires was saying, the contacts are huge because a lot of the people do have contacts on the civilian side to help you progress and move forward on the civilian sector if that's what you want to do.
Boy, those CE careers, they can really transfer well in the
Absolutely.
in the civilian world. Do you see a lot of kids coming maybe from high schools around that are looking into the trades that kind of see it as a as a stepping stone?
Like a good opportunity. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we've
Definitely.
got an influx of people lately, which is awesome. And they're just really good trades to know because having that stuff done on the outside, it's so expensive. So knowing those skills yourself, man, you save a lot of money. So,
You really do. I mean,
You're not wrong, right? Just learning how to work on your own house.
yes, exactly.
Right.
Because that's,
I mean, even paying to get that training is crazy on the civilian side a lot too. So, I mean, you're getting the free training, you're getting the time in the career field, and you're saving a ton of, saving that money and getting paid while doing it all.
Right.
So, it's huge.
What qualifications or requirements should people be able to meet to join the Air National Guard?
yeah, so you must be between the ages of 17 and 39. You have to be a legal resident. You have to have a high school diploma or the equivalency, unless you are still in high school. In that case, you must be a high school senior, essentially. You also must pass the entrance exam, medical screening, and then a background check. So not too much.
No, not too.
no,
It sounds, it sounds like a lot, but really, I think if you're doing the right thing in your life, it's
Right.
not a big deal. It's really not as overwhelming as it sounds.
Right.
It's really not. I don't think it's
No.
as bad. I mean, honestly, the hardest part through the entire process is just going through MEPS, that military entrance processing thing. That's really the biggest thing. I mean, that we
right.
just getting you through there.
But
That's
yeah,
it.
if you're within the age range, like reach out to us and we'll figure everything else out. So
Absolutely.
What's a good phone number to reach you guys at?
618-222-5701.
What surprises people to learn about the Illinois Air National Guard? I got one thing I learned. Let me just add my 2 cents in before. I was, a naive full-time Army guy, and just about the National Guard in general and the reserves. It never dawned on me that there were full-time people in the Guard and Reserves, I just figured at the end of the weekend, everybody just packed up and everything gathered dust. I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I thought. But so what surprises people to learn about serving in the Illinois Air National Guard?
So honestly, there's just so many. I think the biggest one for me is how we still get full-time benefits for only being part-time. I think that is so huge, how much we actually get out of the Guard for only being a part-time member, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go ahead. So that's anything from like, your health care to your tuition, what else is there? I'm trying to think.
I mean, there's just so many benefits.
So many benefits.
With it. The transferability is amazing. I think the training and transferability is the biggest part for me. I mean, being able to get the free training,
right,
which is amazing. So you're getting paid to get all that training, that knowledge for free, and then being able to transfer it to the civilian side is just incredible.
Yeah.
So being able to take, for example, mechanical career fields, being able to take that knowledge you've gained and being able to go to Boeing and work full time, or hey, say a position opens here, like you said, being able to work here full time. So being able to just have so many different options and avenues to go down is just incredible.
Mm-hmm. That job experience is huge because I went to school at first while I was in the Guard part-time, and I was able to put, 4 years of financial experience on my resume. That's huge. That set me out completely as opposed to, the other people going through school at the same time that had no financial experience. But I got that from being in the Guard and working part-time, which was huge. And it was nice because in my summers, they let me out here on orders. I was able to have a part-time job when I needed it. So there's so much flexibility and you can get so much out of this. But the job experience is huge and it transfers very well.
And then to piggyback off you, Matt, I mean, being able to get your CCAF, I mean, with that, being able to use that, getting a degree.
Right, you get an associate's degree.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For basically doing your job after a certain amount of time. The Community College of the Air Force. I mean, that's a big deal. And we should say that Maddie was in the finance, in the comptroller flight.
Yes, sir. I was in finance before I became a recruiter. So that was huge. I went to school for business management, so I chose a career that kind of went hand in hand, but definitely you don't need to do that. I think it's cool when people do something completely different from in the Guard than they do outside. Either way, the job experience you can put on your resume.
And you were able to get that free schooling, be able to go to school for free while you're in the Guard, getting your finance experience, and then you got a CCAF, being able to use all of that combined. So I mean, just sets you up for success.
Right.
It really is.
And I used my Guard grant to get my bachelor's degree, so all those benefits I used in the civilian world, which was awesome. But we've been talking about a lot of benefits. I think another one, a huge one, is like all the opportunities to travel. And you get paid to travel, so that's huge.
Paid for a vacation.
Make it make sense. That's awesome.
Make it make sense, absolutely.
Yeah, being able to travel and being able to go to these. I went to England for 10 days. That is
incredible.
Amazing. Yeah,
absolutely.
I got to go see the Cardinals. I got to fly to see the Cardinals for free. I mean, I still had to pay for the tickets, but just happened to be there. It's just the experiences that you get. That's one of the many benefits of just the experiences that you get of traveling to different places. What are some of the benefits and advantages? We've talked about a few of them of joining the Illinois Air National Guard.
Well, we talked about so many of them.
Yeah, I know. We talked about so many already.
Illinois specifically is. The only thing that differs state to state is usually that tuition benefit. Illinois, we have the 100% tuition to any state-funded school. It's called the Illinois Guard Grant, which I think is huge because, that covers 4 years of full-time study to any college. And you can use that for graduate, undergraduate, professional programs of any combination, which is awesome. So you can really use that for what you want and get what you want out of it.
Absolutely. The school benefits are incredible.
Right.
I mean, I started in the New York Guard.
Oh, you did?
I did, and I didn't have those benefits. So,
oh, you're kidding?
No, and then they do. They vary state to state. So, coming here, that Illinois Guard grant is amazing. Being able to go to school for free, takes huge. It just gives you so much leverage for success. I mean, you don't start off in debt. You start off on a high note. Not only, you're getting paid to do this part-time job with that experience, that trade skill, but you're also not having to pay for school.
Right. And then the Montgomery GI Bill pays you to go to school. So right now, you get an additional $439 a month just to be a full-time student. And that money goes straight to your bank account. So you get paid to go to school.
Absolutely. You're getting paid to go to school, and then you're getting paid for your one weekend. You're just right under $1,000 a month with your guard check and your Montgomery GI Bill.
Yeah.
Right.
While going to school.
And then imagine if you get the kicker, which is only for certain jobs, but that's huge. You get even more money on top of that.
That's big.
So that's bonus. That's a bonus. What's the kicker?
So the kicker is like essentially additional money to your Montgomery GI Bill. I don't remember exactly how much it is. That's more Sergeant Esker's lane.
Right.
But you get additional money on top of that. So I think it's at least like $300 or more. So imagine making $700 plus just to go to school. Like that's your only job.
Right.
That is amazing.
And you're working one weekend a month. So you have your entire month to do whatever you want to do. Live your, I like to say, have your cake and eat it too. You get to experience your college life with just working a small part-time job.
That is nice. Sergeant Anderson, you said, one thing about the National Guard is I don't think people understand is, you can move around with the National Guard.
Right.
And that's what you did. You were in the New York Guard.
Yeah, and that's another beautiful benefit, right? So you're not stationed in one place. If you want to move, you have that opportunity to be able to do that. So I actually started in the New York Guard. I actually transferred to San Antonio, Texas, where I was there for another 4 years. And then this opportunity came, and now I can call this place home and transfer here.
What did you do before you were in recruiting?
So I was aircraft structural maintenance. So I was sheet metal.
Oh, nice. So what caused you? What made you want to transfer from New York to Texas?
Well, I did have great opportunities in New York. Like you said, the traveling, we had a great mission there, but I needed opportunity to grow too and do something different. So I got to change aircraft. I got to experience a little bit new thing. I got to be a little more of a supervisor there. So I got a little bit more benefits. And you're always growing and changing. So it's always nice to be able to have that opportunity to do that to yourself. So being able to move there, I got to change a little bit myself too, and just grow as not only an airman, but be able to grow as a person too. So that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one benefit, a hidden benefit that people don't realize. I think sometimes they might feel like, oh man, am I going to be stuck here? I mean, maybe not the right word, but am I going to be here,
right, and
not be able to move? But you have that opportunity.
You can always transfer.
Yeah.
Obviously, we want to keep everybody here. We love having everybody here.
Sure.
But if, say, a life event comes up and you have to move, there's no option. You have the flexibility to be able to do that. I mean, we can obviously help you reach out to your next unit and get you in line with their recruiters and be able to start that transfer process. And it's easy to do. I mean, it takes
It's
like a month.
easy to transfer from state to state, or even within the state. If you want to transfer to a different wing, you definitely can.
Right.
Because life happens. Life happens, and this job can change. So you can be able to change that.
What's it like to see the folks that you've enlisted into the wing have success?
That's our main goal.
Yeah, that's our main goal. It's crazy to see people come back from basic training and they're in their uniform and everything.
Right.
And like they're working hand in hand with us now. That's awesome to see.
Absolutely.
Just their mentality, how much it's changed from, being a civilian to now being in the military. It's kind of crazy. We haven't been in recruiting long enough to see them, advance in their career very much. But I can't wait to see that. That's going to be so cool. And I know our airmen will do great things and they'll go very far. So
definitely.
What is one piece of advice you'd give to a person interested in the military, or a new recruit?
It's really what you make of it, to be honest with you. I know it's maybe a little cliche, but it really is what you make of it. I mean, you have the ability to do so much in the Guard. I mean, the possibilities are truly endless. Being able to, do that full time, being able to stay part time but move, being able to grow, change career fields. I mean, it's really what you make of it. I think that's too what drove. I mean, I know us to be recruiters
Right.
is that passion for the Guard and how much it's really given me. And how much it can give you,
Other
but
people.
you just have to, it's what you make of it. I mean, it's really
Right.
where you go with it.
And you can get out of the Guard what you want. Like you
Absolutely.
you get what you want out of it. So it truly is just such a great thing. And I think honestly, if you're on the fence, just contact us. I mean, we'll answer any questions that you have. We'll go over everything and we'll see if it's the right fit for you or not. If it's not, it's no big deal. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to,
And that's the beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to try it or even to, come in, schedule an appointment to see if it's
Right.
something that you're interested in. But if you're like, you know what, I need to be full-time right off the bat. I need more of that. I need to go. Then you know what? We can always direct you to an active duty recruiter. We
Right.
don't mind. We're trying to do what's best for
Sure.
you.
Right, that's what
We're
we care
trying to
about.
do. That's what we care about. I mean, the last thing I know that we want is someone to come in the unit and not be happy.
Right.
We want you to come in and love it just as much as us. So if you being able to go active duty is a better fit for you, we will direct you in that direction and help you
Absolutely.
get to where you want to be and grow as a person. But we are a little partial towards the Guard.
yeah, we do think it might be the best, but
But
they'll figure that out on active duty. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sure, but,
Right.
you
And
know-
transfer back. No.
If people want to go full time, can't you steer them towards a job in the Guard that has that possibility?
So if somebody mentions that they just want to be part-time now, but they might foresee themselves wanting to be full-time later on, I will definitely take that in consideration when they're looking for jobs, because I will steer them towards jobs that tend to have more,
A possibility.
vacancies or full-time possibilities. There's some jobs that just do not have that. Like security forces is one of those. Right now, they don't have
don't have-
opportunities for full-time positions.
Right.
But
it's just part-time.
other jobs do. So-
Maintenance.
Yes, maintenance is a big one.
Maintenance
So
is huge.
it's obviously I want what they want, so I will steer them towards jobs that have that. Obviously, we can never promise full-time positions because we just recruit for part-time, but we can at least push them in that direction.
Right. And hopefully you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get a job that you truly love and there's opportunity for that full-time stuff. But we
Right.
obviously right off the bat, we can only guarantee your part-time job.
Yep.
But we definitely encourage and we'll direct you in that full-time positions if that's really what you're interested in.
Cool. So the $1 million question: I'll ask each of you, Maddie. What made you decide to join the Air National Guard?
Yes. So my parents were previously in the military. Both
Oh.
of them were. They were active duty and then they went reserve. So when it was time for me to start looking at colleges and everything, they basically told me, hey, we're not paying for your college. I was like, that's great. I'm also not paying for my college. So they were like, I think the Guard might be the right fit for you. So I took a look at it, and essentially I ended up deciding I wanted to join because the college tuition. So
Was it? And you were in. Like we said financial management, the comptroller flight. Was that you were wanting to go into business at the time?
yeah, so I was business undecided at that time, or I was going into that program when I joined the Guard. So I was like, I'll join, or I wanted to join finance, essentially just because I could put that job experience on my resume.
Right.
I mean, honestly, kind of see if that's even what I wanted to do with my life. Because why not, test it out before I go to school for 4 years and be like,
Is this what I want?
is this what
Yeah.
I want? Right. So that's what I did. Obviously, everybody's experience is different, but
Right.
What about you, Sarah? What made you decide to join the Air National Guard?
So honestly, I guess there's a sense of purpose. I kind of was missing a little bit in my life. I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go in. I did sports my whole life, and I absolutely loved that team. I loved being a part of something. And then I think when I graduated school, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. So this gave me everything and more. I mean, it gave me that sense of purpose. It gave me that little family. It gave me everything I could have wanted. So
You worked in sheet metal. What was it? What's the exact word called?
Oh, aircraft structural maintenance.
Aircraft structural maintenance. What made you choose that?
So I wanted to travel. I wanted to do something different and be a part of that mission. So they had a really cool mission. It was Operation Deep Freeze.
Yeah, to Greenland?
It is. It's Greenland and Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
And so you do your pit stop in New Zealand, and then you go to Antarctica for a month, and it was incredible. So I mean, it gave me that experience that I wanted. I wanted that to be a part of that, and then also be able to travel and do different things.
Oh, yeah. Who else can say they've been to that,
Right, that's
to
awesome.
Antarctica and that? So what's that? What's
It was so fun.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'd ask you what it's like, but it's cold.
Do you know what? Surprisingly, New York's a little colder, but yes.
Really?
Well, we'd go during the summer months. So summer in Antarctica is like -60 at the pole. But when you're on the actual line, like the flight line, it's just a different section. So it was like, sometimes it was even like +30, 20,
Whoa.
which is warm.
Yeah.
Warm for that area.
That's
so
crazy.
Let's break out your shorts weather.
Yeah.
When I was
I was wearing, literally, I would wear like my t-shirt and then like maybe coveralls or something.
Sure.
But it wasn't like, I wasn't wearing like heavy clothes all the time. I mean, sometimes you'd get a nice gust of wind and it'd be pretty cold. But I got to fly on our plane over to the South Pole, which that's where it's -60. It's so cold. I literally took off my glove to take a picture, so I had to fangirl out, and I almost like froze my fingers off. It was so cold, but it's so worth it. So worth it. I got the picture, so that was important.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Frost nip,
Yeah, absolutely worth it. And but it was just an incredible experience to be able to do and say you've been there. I mean, it was pretty
Sure.
cool.
And then you went to Texas. Did you do the same thing in Texas?
No. So, yes, I did. The same job, but different mission.
Right, sure.
So the aircrafts were C5, so they were a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
A lot bit bigger.
Way bigger.
Yeah, way bigger. Yeah, cruise
You
ship
could like
big.
fit the plane in my old plane in that plane. But it was incredible. I got to learn a lot about the plane. Definitely a different ball game plane wise. A lot of different skills required on that plane. But I also got a lot of to learn a little bit more about supervising and a little bit more. I actually didn't travel with that unit. We didn't really have, our shop didn't really go, we didn't go anywhere, which is kind of, there was different opportunities to go and do like little small trips and stuff like that, but nothing big. So, but it was okay. It was still a great experience, great to learn. And at that time too, I started having my family, so I didn't necessarily maybe want to go on big trips anyways.
Sure.
So it worked out. And then I found this position here, and I was very lucky and was able to work with these guys now. So I absolutely love it.
And you know what? You talk about, in Texas, you probably didn't go anywhere cool, but you still had awesome experiences.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
For sure. and Maddie, you and I shared an awesome experience of being on the field for the Cardinals game.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
What the things that the experience of being in the Guard.
Right, like I've even thrown out
an experience all
a
by
first
itself.
pitch at a Cubs game. Like I've done cool things. I mean, I went to Italy last year for annual training, so I've traveled too, and I've done some cool things, which is awesome. And I think the biggest thing in the Guard is that you just meet so many great people.
Yes.
Truly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You really do.
All right. You guys have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, if you refer anybody to us, we will give you guys a free hoodie.
Yes.
Oh, that is nice.
International
Stop
Guard
in and
hoodie.
see us.
Yes.
Do an appointment, even if you even just come in for an appointment and,
Yes.
at least get some information, maybe some
Yes.
free swag.
Yeah. So if you tell us that you've listened to the podcast and you heard about our recruiting thing, we'll give you some free swag. Just stop by.
Just stop by our
Love it.
office.
What's a good phone number for you guys?
Yes. So it's 618-222-5701.
5701. So
That's it.
618-222-5701.
That's it.
Again, want to thank Tech Sergeant Sarah Anderson and Tech Sergeant Maddie Spires from the 126th Recruiting Office for coming by today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us. Go Guard.
Yeah. I need my foam finger.
Go Guard.
Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall presented a detailed keynote address at the Air and Space Forces Association's Air, Space, and Cyber Conference. Kendall spoke about how China is America's preeminent security threat and why the Air and Space Forces must modernize and adapt quickly to ensure the nation's security and interests are protected.
We're all talking about the fact that the Air and Space Forces must change or we could fail to prevent and might even lose a war. Not the kinds of war we've fought or been fighting for the last 30 years, but a war between modern great powers with enormous costs and consequences for the U.S. and its partners and for the world. We cannot let that happen.
Also at the conference, Air Force Chief of Staff General C.Q. Brown Jr. highlighted the continuous changes the service must meet to keep up with today's challenging, complex security environment.
Airmen and leaders must practice mission command daily, using simple scenarios to build confidence ahead of complex challenges we will find in combat.
He also emphasized the importance of collaboration across the joint force, interagency, with industry, and with our allies and partners. Efforts like agile combat employment, reduced bureaucracy, and competitive thinking were also highlighted. Chief of Space Operations General Chance Saltzman addressed service members in his keynote at the conference. Saltzman highlighted the importance of requiring new thinking, innovation, and unity of action to ensure America's security and stability in the space domain.
Establishing the Space Force to focus on a contested space domain was a critical step. And now we must focus our efforts on a purpose-built Space Force for great power competition.
He added the Space Force provides the capabilities that make a strong and proven deterrent possible. Adapting the Space Force to all of its critical fail-safe missions depends on one thing more than anything else: the abilities and performance of Guardians. That's your look around the Air Force. I'm Senior Airman Sayomi Sabornin.
Counseling and crisis support are available through the Metro East Vet Center. They're located on the 5th floor of the 375th Med Group or at the Vet Center in Swansea. You can call 314-894-6105 for more information on the Metro East Vet Center. You can find all of our links on Linktree, linktr.ee/126. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget you can download this on your podcast app. And if you want to pass along some information, you can email roll call at 126rollcall@gmail.com. Thanks for listening to Roll Call, a 126th Air Refueling Wing podcast focused on people, mission, and community. I'm Master Sergeant Brian Ellison.
$50, $30, $20, $10.